Well,
Do
I
you
just
remember?
found that I've been doing yoga and Pilates, and I always did weights in the gym years ago, but
Yeah.
I never really liked it, and I just decided to give it a go. But I was nervous about lifting the weights because with my history, I've hip and back issues. But then when you said that you can use any size weights and obviously use bigger ones as you go along, so that's where I started off as the 1 kilos. But
Yeah, absolutely.
it's big enough for
We
me.
can start with a tin can, can't we?
Yeah,
It
yeah.
is still a resistance. So was it something that I had said? Was it a video that you saw? Was it the fact that I'd said you can start small and build up? What was it that
That
made
was
you
it.
think, yeah,
Yeah, that
okay,
was the key for me because before in the gym you'd see people lifting these big heavy weights and nearly and I said I didn't want that, and then
yeah,
also it wouldn't suit me
yeah,
because of my issues. But
okay.
no, I
So
have to say I'm really enjoying it.
has this sort of changed your opinion about what strength means to us as women in our menopause or our perimenopause years? Has your opinion, therefore, about strength training changed?
Yes, in the way that I think your body strength stands to you more. And I also feel that, my wrists were always weak. And now, and at the start, there was sort of pains and aches and that. But now, like, I don't have that pain. And like, I'm not good at doing planks or that, but I try them. Do you know what
Yeah.
I mean? And then as soon as I feel the wrist or like that, I stop. But I find generally the strength is starting to come back.
Yeah, it's interesting. I think one of the things I think is really important when we're teaching fitness to women of our age is to be aware of we've all got limitations, and to always have something up our sleeve to say, well, if that doesn't work, let's try it that way, rather than
And
just don't do it.
well, that's what I notice about your classes. They're great. You make great adaptations, like you say, oh, somebody there, the knees, the hips, your shoulder, and you put in the adaptation, which is
Yeah.
great.
And
Yeah.
you don't get that if you watch a YouTube video, do you?
No,
This
no,
is somebody
definitely.
saying, boy,
Yeah.
I think I will point out to anybody who's still watching this, the adaptations can go up or down as well. Oi, you can go a bit lower. You need to slow down a bit, but you can work a bit harder. What difference have you noticed, perhaps, to the way you're feeling then? Since how long have you been doing it? Is it 8 weeks, 10 weeks?
End of April.
Yeah.
End of April I started. Yeah.
So we would say about 12 weeks is enough to make a marked change in your bone density and in your muscles. And that's great. But I want to know how you're feeling now.
I feel energized. That's one thing I really do. And I am a morning person, so it doesn't bother me getting up. And I've always done something, like my body, I feel, seizes up if I didn't do something. So I've always done 30 minutes flex or yoga or Pilates in the morning. And then now with this, I actually feel as if my body has toned up, and my legs as well, which were always fit,
So you've really noticed a difference.
I've noticed it. Yeah. I probably haven't noticed it in weight, but I have noticed it in my clothes. Like jeans are fitting better and dresses as well. Yeah. So that's what, yeah.
Yeah. Have you noticed that your mood has changed?
Yeah, I have. I think it's like an endorphin that, before, you'd be getting out of the bed stiff and that, but I don't have that now.
Yeah. But I think I can't claim that's down to Sam's classes, although I try and be very bouncy and energetic. I think when you feel better about one thing, you feel better about another thing.
Yeah.
And it becomes this sort of layering effect, doesn't it? That
it's
when
one part of it.
Yeah.
It's actually one part. You have to look at other aspects as well, like your diet. And, I'm trying to get the steps in as well. Yeah. So it's the whole program coming together.
Yeah, absolutely. It's never one thing on its own.
No.
Okay. And now this is something that I wanted to ask you, particularly because I think that this is all about being really honest. Do you always look forward to putting your kit on and starting an online exercise class at 8 o'clock with me in the morning?
Not 100%, but I mean, once I'm out, and what I do at night is I leave them beside the bed, and then they're there. Do you know what I mean? I think I missed your class once so far, and that was, I just had bad night's sleep.
You overslept.
No, I had a bad night's sleep, and somebody else was snoring.
Yeah, I remember that. Yeah, okay. I think the reason I wanted to ask you that is because I think everybody has this impression that whether we're a fitness instructor or somebody who goes regularly, we wake up in the morning and think, yippee, I'm going to put my kit on and do a class. And it's not like that, is it?
No,
it's
no.
Not like that.
There's a few minutes you could suddenly turn over, but then I think, no, go. And once I have, last thing at night, I put the leggings on the top at the bottom there. So that's
and they're looking at you when you get up. Yeah. Okay, so then the other question is, and I guess this is a bit of a loaded question, so I'll ask it in an unloaded way. How do you feel at the end of a class?
Very sweaty, actually. And I'm doing it in the attic, and I laughed because the other morning it was dull. And the heat was coming in, and my husband had switched on the heat by mistake. So I was absolutely dripping. I meant to tell you that.
On top of the house as well.
But no, after it, I feel energized and ready to go then. Do you know what I mean? Before I have the shower, I'm bouncing, for the day to go on. And I actually find it very positive. And Sam, your encouragement is very good through the class, and you must have, I don't know, eyes all over the place because you can spot everything.
I think that's the really important thing. A lot of people have said they won't go onto online fitness. They want to go to the dusty village hall. That's fine. But it does take a certain type of person. And because I've got a teaching qualification and I've got the nursing qualification as well, I think it's really important to make everybody know that they're being coached and looked at. And you can do that online.
But feel that very much. Yeah, you feel that very much. Yeah.
Well, that's really good.
Yeah.
Okay, so that was a bit of a loaded question. How do you feel after exercise? Because I think most of us would say, yes, you might have hated it slightly, but we always feel better afterwards, don't we?
Well, that's it. And then as the day goes on, you feel, now yesterday, the body class, I feel it today, I feel it today, to be honest with you. Absolutely. But then you know that it's working. Like
something's happened.
Yeah.
Okay.
And the other thing I was going to say to you is I don't find it boring. Sometimes, these classes, they're the same, where there's variety by doing the arms or the arse or the tums and that, and that's what I like.
Yeah. So for those of you watching this, the strength class that I've done has actually only recently changed. I think we've all discovered in the class together that we quite like this. I was always of the opinion that our body needs to be worked out as a whole. So every class focused a little bit on every area of your body, but we were experimenting literally, I think, since you've come, Deirdre, with one day we were doing legs and then the next day we're doing arms, much more like a traditional gym situation. And actually, I think we've all really enjoyed it, haven't we? Knowing that our arms are feeling good, or my bottom feels strong, or whatever. So it may evolve because I try not to be boring, but I think at the moment that's working quite well, isn't it?
Yeah, it is.
A lot of the people who are thinking about coming to strength or resistance using body weight or bands or something are terrified. So what would your advice be for somebody who's contemplating this? They know how much it's going to help them bone-wise. They know it's something that's got to come into their exercise diet, if you like, at some point. What's your advice?
Well, I'd say first thing, give it a go, because it's positive. But also the long-term effects is, like, I was always worried about, because of having hip replacement, that maybe osteoporosis was in, and then when you read up and you see that body strength really helps the bone density. So that was always why I was looking at rather than running. I'm not a fan of that. Now, it can help other people, but for me, it didn't suit. And that's why I like these exercises. That's why I would recommend it. But, and I always like, it's a good class. It's a nice little community, and there's loads of positivity about it. So
There's quite a lot of faces, aren't there? Faces that go,
yeah,
really? Really? You want to see that?
And you catch us out.
Well, thank you very much, because I think, as much as I like to think that I can help people understand the benefits of it, it's much nicer for people to see somebody else tell their story, their experiences, and also for us to be honest about this. We don't always want to do it, and sometimes you just don't want to be there. But
if you're not enjoying it, you won't stick with it.
Absolutely. Yeah. Any other tips you wanted to share with anybody before we finish?
No, just give it a try.
Give it a try.